Generic Ozempic became real in India in March 2026, and Canada approved its first version on April 28th. Americans still cannot fill a regular pharmacy prescription for an approved injectable Ozempic copy. Ozempic contains semaglutide, but patent expiration in one country does not create worldwide access. Each country separately controls patents, drug approvals, manufacturing standards, labeling, and whether pharmacists can substitute one product for another. In India, competition began on March 21, 2026, shortly after the local semaglutide patent expired. Sun Pharma launched Sematrinity for type 2 diabetes and novel treat for chronic weight management. Both products contain semaglutide, but their doses and approved uses differ. Other Indian manufacturers also launched or prepared lower-cost products after the patent barrier disappeared. These were regulated products, not simply online sellers using the word generic. Local regulators reviewed specific products, allowing genuine market competition after the local patent expired. Canada followed on April 28, 2026. Health Canada approved a Dr. Reddy's semaglutide injection as a generic Ozempic version for blood sugar management in adults with type 2 diabetes. It was Canada's first approved semaglutide generic and the first among major economies known as the Group of Seven. Apotex received another approval on May 1st. On June 29th, Canada approved Sevmia as its first generic semaglutide product for chronic weight management. Canada therefore treated diabetes and weight management products as separate approvals. Those approvals matter inside India and Canada because their regulators reviewed products for their own markets. An overseas approval does not function as an American approval. For routine United States pharmacy sales, a manufacturer needs a separate application to the Food and Drug Administration. The agency independently reviews quality, manufacturing, labeling, and patent-related requirements. A true generic is more than a carton with the same ingredient name. It must match the brand drug's ingredient, strength, form, and method of use. It must also deliver a sufficiently similar amount of medicine into the body at a sufficiently similar rate. Regulators call this bioequivalence, meaning comparable drug exposure. Generic labeling generally matches the brand. A generic may leave out an approved use that is still protected from generic competition. Semaglutide has a complex molecular structure, so matching only the drug amount is not enough. Reviewers also compare unwanted impurities, structure, and behavior in laboratory tests. These approval requirements help separate approved generics from compounded semaglutide. A compounded product is prepared by a pharmacy or specialized facility rather than approved as an equivalent Ozempic generic. The Food and Drug Administration does not individually approve each compounded product before patients receive it. Calling compounded semaglutide generic Ozempic can create a false impression of official equivalence. By contrast, a conventional United States generic manufacturer uses a shorter approval application designed for generic drugs. It relies on the original brand's established safety and effectiveness instead of repeating all the original clinical studies. The manufacturer must still show similar performance in the body and reliable production. Public records show applications for generic versions of certain Ozempic strengths have already been submitted. Submission is only one step. Current public records do not show an approved injectable Ozempic generic available for routine United States pharmacy sale. Patent rights operate country by country. A core patent can expire in India, while related American patents remain legally active. There is no single worldwide semaglutide patent expiration date. Different dates apply depending on the country, product, device, approved use, and whether a patent receives extra time. The Food and Drug Administration publishes a database called the Orange Book. It lists a patent covering semaglutide itself through December 2031. Other listed patents involving certain Ozempic products or uses continue into the late 2030s. Some individual product listings include patents extending into 2041. A generic manufacturer does not always wait for every listed patent to expire. It can argue that a patent should not stand or that its product does not violate it. A patent challenge can lead to a lawsuit, settlement, or agreement allowing a future launch. Regulators decide drug approval, while courts resolve patent disputes. Regulatory approval and commercial launch can therefore happen on different dates. Overseas competition cannot by itself determine when an American product will reach pharmacies. The injection pen adds another hurdle because Ozempic combines medicine with a delivery device. A proposed generic pen must deliver the correct dose without creating new user errors. Reviewers may compare dose selection, injection steps, controls, instructions, and the chance of medication errors. Matching the medicine inside the pen is not enough if the device itself increases dosing mistakes. The approved use matters just as much as the ingredient. Ozempic is primarily approved for type 2 diabetes, while Wegovy has separate approval for chronic weight management. A Canadian generic Ozempic product, therefore, does not automatically become a generic Wegovy product. Different doses, labels, evidence, and approval requirements can apply. For American patients, the practical question is the product's exact approval status. Start by checking whether the Food and Drug Administration lists it as an approved generic. Confirm the manufacturer, strength, drug form, approved use, and injection pen. The agency's Orange Book lists approved products, patents, and whether some products can be substituted. Licensed American pharmacies get approved medicines through tracked supply chains. Overseas sellers may lack reliable temperature records, batch tracking, or counterfeit protection. A photograph of a semaglutide pen cannot prove how it was made, stored, or tracked, or whether it is counterfeit. The source matters as much as appearance. Foreign approval also does not automatically make shipment into the United States legal. Ordering an unapproved foreign medication for personal use is generally illegal, with limited exceptions. Compare prices only after confirming the product is genuine and legally approved. A low price can reflect real generic competition, but it can also signal an unapproved or counterfeit product. One lower-cost option, often confused with a generic, is compounded semaglutide. Compounding can meet specific patient needs, but pharmacies cannot automatically substitute it for approved Ozempic. In February 2025, the Food and Drug Administration determined that the national injectable semaglutide shortage had ended. Temporary policies allowing broader compounding during the shortage ended during spring 2025. Pharmacies could still compound for certain individual patients when legal requirements were met. The shortage could no longer justify routinely making near copies of drugs already available on the market. Compounding rules are separate from the generic launch timeline. American competition could begin before every patent expires through challenges, court decisions, settlements, or a launch by the brand company. An authorized generic is one kind of brand-authorized copy sold without the original brand name. The brand manufacturer may sell it or authorize another distributor. That differs from an ordinary generic, which receives its own separate approval. Overseas launches cannot predict whether a brand-authorized copy will appear in America. For now, Americans should keep these categories separate. Brand name Ozempic is approved, while compounded semaglutide is not an approved generic version of Ozempic. Overseas generics may be legitimate in their home countries while remaining unapproved for routine American sale. The same ingredient can have very different legal status and levels of government review. Overseas launches prove semaglutide competition is technically possible and can begin quickly after local barriers fall. They do not make an American generic available today. Until a product passes United States approval review and clears relevant patent barriers, generic Ozempic remains an overseas option. It is not a routine choice at American pharmacies. Medicine simplified. That's what this channel does. If you want more, hit subscribe. This is not medical advice. Consult your doctor.